What if the biggest thing holding your business back isn't actually sales, but it's the admin work that you shouldn't be doing yourself? That's what we're diving into in this episode of Humans of Growth. I'm talking today with Noel Pulanco, the CEO at Yes Virtual and the designated broker over at HomeQwik, about how small businesses can scale faster by offloading the right tasks, building trust, and hiring smarter. Let's dive in. Noel, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
So I introduced a little bit of the professional side of you, but in a sentence or two, tell me about you as a human. What's bringing you joy right now?
A human, the holidays, Mexican food.
Okay.
The constant battle of working out more than I eat. But I enjoy both things now as I'm getting older. I've got two kids. Sorry?
No, you mentioned Mexican food. Tell me, do you make home cooked or from takeout?
Oh, well, yeah. Mexican food's best if you go out. I do it okay. I make a good green chili.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. And then sorry, I had derailed you. You were mentioning kids, family.
Yeah, I'm married 18 years now. Been with my wife about 20 years. We grew up together. She's like my Winnie Cooper, basically. We reconnected when I was 30. We've got a daughter together who's 18. She's a freshman at Northern Arizona University. My son just got out and finished his career in the Marines. So he is home right now working on his EMT cert so he can get on the Phoenix Fire Department.
Ooh, exciting. So going back a couple years to 2012, because that feels like it was yesterday, you started Yes Virtual, and then you also kind of within 6, 8 to 9 month time frame, you also became the first team member at HomeQwik. So tell me a little bit of the origin stories behind all of that.
Actually, it's reverse. So I got into property management back in, when was I originally licensed? 2010.
Okay.
So my stepdad, who was my co-founder and business partner in Yes Virtual, he and a partner had started investing into rental homes. They were buying VA homes, very, very cheap. Anywhere from $30,000 to $120,000 in the greater Phoenix area.
Wow.
And this is back before, they started doing that probably in 04, 05.
Okay.
And then I originally was licensed, in 06. So I went through the crash in 08. Sorry, my brain's not functioning great yet. But so he got in, him and his partner ended up owning about 150 rental properties. Wow. Between the two of them, so they decided to open and create their own property management company, and they started bringing other investors on board and figured out if they're going to sell investment homes, they need somebody to manage those. So they started the investment property management company. I became a licensed realtor. My first week, I rented 6 properties, and I was the head leasing agent that week. And kind of kept everybody's going forward. And, learned very quickly the ins and outs of dealing with tenants, running applications, figuring out who's a good applicant, who's not, all those things. And then slowly got into selling properties to our investors. Okay. So then the market crashes, kind of goes wild. We get a bunch of new investors coming in. So a bunch of investors lost the homes they'd already bought, which was very unfortunate. I mean, we had investors that were selling their gold. Cashing out 401ks, lots of bad decisions because they wanted to get in on the real estate wave. Mm-hmm. And it was going crazy. I mean, the neighborhood I live in now, it's called Arrowhead. It was the highest appreciating neighborhood in the entire country in 2006. So, and you look at it now and it's kind of an average neighborhood, but we do have some lakes and some green belts. So there's kind of all levels of homes in this neighborhood, but top appreciating neighborhood in the country. So the Phoenix real estate market was on complete fire. So investors wanted to get in. Well, then it crashed, right? So everybody that didn't get in was able to now get in because the houses that had doubled, some tripled in value, were now back to their base pricing or less. So new builds were selling at, let's say, $250,000. And I was selling them to investors now for $85,000, $90,000. And they were renting out for $1,000 a month. So cash flowing, and they were cheap. So between that time, we left partners. We left my stepdad's original partner because we found out he was doing lots of stuff you're not supposed to do. So we created another company called Home Lovers. Another issue with the partner, got rid of him, let him keep the brand. We started over as HomeQwik back in 2010. I became the broker, so we're fully family owned at this point. My stepdad passed away last year. My mom is technically the owner, and I'm our designated broker. Jason, our property manager, is my best friend from high school. He's been working with us 14 years now, at least. And then, so that's kind of how the property management stuff got started. And then, yes, virtual. So around 2012, we were members of what's called NARPM. It's the National Association of Residential Property Managers. Okay. So it's property managers from across the country, right? So I'm friends with people in Florida, Minnesota, Texas, California, all over. We've been in that association since 2010. Well, around 2012, the virtual assistant became a buzzword, and we really wanted to figure it out. We started having people say, yeah, I've got a VA doing this, I've got a VA doing that. Well, at that time, we had a lot of doors, almost 600 doors we were managing. And I had multiple leasing agents that were answering the phone, running out and showing houses, doing all the stuff that you would think a realtor does. But in property management, you're doing it a lot faster, a lot more often, for a lot less money every time. Okay, yep. So a leasing commission is, anywhere from $200 to $1,000, where a sales commission now can be as high as $20,000, $30,000. So it's quantity, not quality, kind of. And then our property managers, the people that are doing customer service, property management is like the complaint department. So if the dishwasher breaks, the owner's mad at you and the tenant's mad at you. It's like, hey, everybody chill out. The dishwasher broke. We'll get it fixed. But the property manager also has to deal with the stuff like you didn't pay. You got an HOA violation. So we're dealing with the hard stuff too. But our main role is customer service. And probably 85% of what we do is dealing with maintenance, coordinating it, doing invoicing, following up, all the stuff that comes along with doing a maintenance request. So long story short, we heard about virtual assistants. We said, what the heck is this? It's people you can hire from overseas. Basically, they can work online, do stuff for your office. So we're like, all right, cool, let's check this out. We hired 3 virtual assistants. 2 of them worked out immediately. One of them just couldn't quite figure it out. But we had to learn the hard way how to get them equipment. So this was in the Philippines, making sure they had good internet connection. We had to send some computers. We had to send some VoIP phones, some headsets, so we didn't hear the chickens clucking in the backyard and the rooster stuff that you hear in the Philippines. But we basically figured it out by hiring 3, and then we had 6. And then in about a year and a half, we had 9 virtual assistants. So they basically took over most of the leasing role for my in-house leasing agents. Because in that time, too, electronic lock boxes that you could give out a code for became a thing. So we could have 6 people look at the house in the same day by just collecting their identity information and giving them a code and letting them go see the house. So my VAs started really answering the phones, basically dealing with leasing because we had so many doors and it was really busy. We slowly started transitioning them into other tasks like admin stuff, data entry, doing stuff like invoicing, helping with some of the accounting, and then helping manage maintenance. So helping to schedule, following up with vendors, checking in on the tenant, did this work get done, even answering the phone and trying to troubleshoot. Now, back then, we learned to train on the fly. So people in the Philippines may or may not understand that a roof leak could be from the rain, or it could be because you have an HVAC unit on the roof that a condensation line is backing up and it's causing water. So I had to literally draw diagrams. If there's water coming from the ceiling, if they're downstairs, is it from the plumbing upstairs or is it from the roof? Is it raining outside? Let's start there. If it's not raining outside, then where's the water coming from? Is it from a tub upstairs or is it from the HVAC unit? So teaching them and just like you would train somebody that's brand new off the street in your neighborhood, how to be a property manager. We had to figure out all of those things. So as we're training them, and we got up to having 9 of those remote employees, our friends from NERPM started asking if we could help them do the same thing. They're like, hey, can you help us repeat what you've done? We'll pay you for it. And we're like, okay, why don't you just let us do what we do? And then we'll basically loan you the employee. And that's really how the business started. So when I hire a virtual assistant from Yes Virtual, they're technically my employee, but they would be your staff member. So what's really cool for people in the States is you get to pay us like your electric bill. There's no payroll tax, vacation time, all of that stuff is roped into our fee. And our employees now, I mean, for going on 10 years now, we've had legal presence in the Philippines and Mexico. So they get legitimate paychecks. They're getting their taxes taken out. They have their national rights to vacation, 13th month paid stuff, all of these things that come along with hiring overseas. So a lot of people that do virtual assistant staffing, they're paying them with Zelle or PayPal, under the table type stuff. We find way, way better employees because they actually work for a company, Yes Virtual, and also are working for a client, Ali Hathcock's baking services or whatever it is. So we knew how to train in the property management business. So that's where 90% of my VAs is with other property managers across the country. But really now we're trying to branch out. I've got about 10 other clients that are in different industries. So we've got insurance companies. I've got an HVAC company, a cabinet replacement spray net, it's called, company, appliance repair guy here, a medical sales, and an attorney. So we're really trying to show every business that if you've got employees that work at a desk, you could probably outsource that employee. And just do it way more cost effectively. I hate saying cheaper, but it is.
Cheaper, but it is much more cost effective. And if we're realistic, in the Philippines, they have better, they get the 13th month, they get paid vacation. Situations are a little bit better over there than
and they really, really want to work. My daughter's first job was at Barrow's Pizza here in our neighborhood. She was getting paid $14.53 an hour and had never done anything besides poop patrol and empty the dishwasher, right? So she was getting paid $14.53 an hour. We can give you a full-time person for basically $9 an hour. And that includes everything. Most of the people we hire are either in college or have a college degree. They've got experience working online. This isn't their first job. So I would love to hire local, but like I was telling you the story of growing property management companies, all the property managers we were getting were like burnout realtors. They couldn't hack the constant negativity sometimes of the job, like, everything's broken, woe is me type stuff. And just their attitude really sucked. I went through 7 or 8 property managers in 6 months, and these are local American Arizona people that they wouldn't show up, or they would have a breakdown at their desk. It's like, guys, I did your job. It's not that hard. Where we started hiring the Philippines, and it's like, okay, this property manager quit. We've got 9 VAs. Can one of them start doing some of the stuff that this property manager was doing? And then we really figured out, if you can have VAs take some of the, I hate to call it grunt work, but the repeatable stuff, the stuff that comes up every day. So, checking emails is one thing, but if it's like daily invoicing, doing follow-ups, anything that happens every day and needs to be done every day or at least every week. So a lot of property managers we see or vendors we see, they wait till the weekend to do their invoicing. And it's like, every Sunday night I'll get a bunch of invoices from our vendors because they're like, oh shit, I want to get paid next week. I need to have my invoice in. It's like, if you had a VA helping you do your office stuff, those invoices could be done every day. Your emails could be checked. If you're out in the field and you're on a roof because you're a roofer, they could be answering the phone and setting up your next appointment. They could be ordering roof tiles. They could be managing your email. They could be posting social media. All of this stuff that it's really hard for you to do on your own. And again, we kind of learned how much stuff somebody could do because, again, in the property management business, we might do 100 different things in a day, and 15 or 20 of those require expertise or 5 of those might require a real estate license. Okay. So
Yep.
I've been doing this 18 years, but my VAs don't need to have 18 years worth of experience to call a tenant and say, our vendor was there, how'd it go? You know?
Right, 100%. And I think that's kind of the big takeaway is it's like, okay, as a business owner, what are the things that only you can do? Or what are the things only your experienced team members can do? And then let's outsource and automate the rest, because it's not a high enough ROI to have someone getting paid $30 an hour who's burned out answering the phones to deal with complaints and maintenance issues.
Well, especially if they have to do all of that repeatable stuff on top of it. So how good of a job can they do solving a problem or dealing with an upset client, no matter what business it is, if they're like, oh crap, I got to get invoicing done by the end of the day. Right.
100%.
Or there's 10 voicemails I haven't even got to yet. You know, so you get stuck with one challenging customer, or maybe on a positive note, a really good sales call. You're on that and you're like, oh no, I got to get this done or else I'm going to be here all night because I haven't done my side work. So VAs can really help a company by doing a lot of the side work and letting your power people make power moves, do the sale,
100%.
resolve a problem, deal with an issue, get that, that high resolution that you need somebody with the expertise to be able to handle might take more time. They can do a good job handling that while their background stuff is still getting done. So I say, especially for small business owners, and I deal with a lot of contractors from my property management business. I see so many of them that are great, like I said, on the roof or under the sink, or working on an AC, or they're great trimming trees, but they suck at follow-up. They don't answer the phone. It takes all day to get an email. Well, it should. You're out in the field. And I'm like, man, how much more work could you be doing if you just had to be in the field all day, got back to your car, and your next appointment is set, your parts and your product is ordered, your phone calls have been answered, you're just moving, like, do what you're good at, right? Like, I'm good at sales. I'm good at being in front of people. Even though I'm the broker, I suck at paperwork, right? I make errors. My mind goes more to the macro than the micro level. That those detailed stuff I'm not great at, and I know that I'm not. So I have my VAs, check some of my work. But I should be out talking. I should be out talking to people. I should not be, writing contracts. I need to know how to write a contract, but it's not really my specialty, right? Dotting the I's and crossing the T's is not my specialty. I'm good at talking to people and getting them to get interested in our company. So I should focus my time on that, not, making sure the initials are in the right spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's where, like, if you think about people who go into the trades, they go into the trades because they want to work on HVAC. They go into the trades because they want to work on roofs. Half of them don't know how to use a computer that well to save their lives, if we're honest about the situation. Sure. And nobody goes into any business thinking, I want to do admin work 20 hours a week. But that is the reality for business owners. 75%
nobody thinks they want to become an expert in QuickBooks, right?
Yep, 100%.
They're trying to figure out how do I do Facebook ads? Learning QuickBooks is a whole nother talent. So sorry to cut you off, but yeah, that's exactly it.
So for business owners who are thinking about hiring their first VA overseas, and they've kind of been winging it because employees in the US, if they've been in that industry for a while, they can kind of just get in the seat and figure things out on the go. I've kind of seen the experience when you hire someone overseas, there's a little bit more training that has to go into your processes system. So how do you go about preparing a business owner or the employee who's going to be managing the VA to think about how do we build out our systems and processes and our SOPs to be able to hand off to someone?
Great topic. So you have to start there. You can't hire somebody and try to wing it, especially when they're from overseas and they have no idea what your business does, right?
100%.
So if we're hiring somebody off the street locally, there's a good chance they have an idea of what our type of business is. A lot of people are going to hire a VA where they've never even heard of this type of business.
Hey guys, real quick, this episode is sponsored by Parison Network. Parison Network is a matchmaking service that connects businesses to marketing agencies that will actually get you results. There's over 50,000 agencies in the United States alone, and picking the right one can feel, well, pretty impossible. Parison Network simplifies the entire process by doing all of the vetting for you. From the initial agency search to interviewing and vetting the top marketing agencies to getting proposals and helping you with the discovery call, Parison Network does it all. This way, you end up partnering with a marketing agency that actually delivers outcomes, not empty promises. If you're ready to stop wasting money on marketing that just doesn't work, visit parisonnetwork.com and get your free agency search started today. That's parisonnetwork.com, PERISSON network.com.
I shouldn't say that now. 10 years ago, that was more of the case. Now, VAs are all over the place. I mean, if you call anybody that you pay a bill to, that's probably a virtual assistant answering the phone, right? Mm-hmm. So your bank, your cable, your internet, your cell phone, most of those things now are, all of the large corporations are using at least outsourcing on their call center side. But yeah, you hit the nail on the head. You really got to have your training buttoned up before. If you hire somebody, you can't just say, "Hey, here's 2 days worth of training I recorded. Good luck. I want you to start the job on Wednesday, but Monday, here's a bunch of crap I want you to learn." You're going to fail. Okay. So you need to have, I would say, start small and compartmentalize. So if you're going to have your VA do 6 or 7 or 8 tasks, have training on each one of those, train them on 2, maybe 3 to start. So most people in a small business, they probably need help with the phones and they need help with data entry or some type of admin. So start there. What are 5 questions you can teach your VA to answer on a live call? Okay. Yep. There's probably 4 or 5 questions, whether they got to get into the software and get an answer, or they should just know these answers. Like sometimes it's as simple as, what is your address? Is this Chuck E. Cheese pizza? No, it's not. 4 or 5 questions that they can answer on a live call before they have to bump it to somebody else. I think 70 to 90% of the calls that come in just need a quick answer. If I can log in and see, here's what they owe, here's what the due date is, here's when the lease is up, yes, the part was ordered, the guy's going to be there between 2 and 4. A lot of those things are probably 70 to 90% of the calls that you're getting. Your VA can do those. That other 10, 20%, they can bump up or say, I'll have Joe call you back within the hour, or I'll forward a message. That same thing can be done via emails. If you're having to manage your emails, probably 80, 90% of those your VA can probably answer for them. The other 10% got to get bumped up and might need to wait. So again, most people are going to need somebody to help with that client-facing, barrage of phone calls and emails. You can start there. Then teach them, let's just say it's invoicing, or let's say they're managing your CRM. A lot of CRMs just need a click. Yep. A click, this new message was sent, here we go. Maybe it's a follow-up phone call. Maybe it's a follow-up video. If your CRM is operating properly, a lot of that stuff is automated, and you might just need to go in through every day, which reminds me I need to do mine today. You need to go in there and maybe just click that the task is done, right? So that's something that they can learn. So maybe you start with the phones and your lead management, and that's 2 things. Give them a week or 2. Then maybe, hey, you've got this figured out. You're doing really well. Now I want to put you on invoicing. Let's show you how we do our data entry in our system. Also, maybe that's the one you start with. My point is, whatever it is, start with 1 or 2 tasks that are easily teachable, but also make sure that you're holding their hands the best you can. I remember every job I've ever had that there was training, I was either in a class for a week when I worked for a customer service call center, or I was in class for a week and then had to shadow or sit with somebody at their desk, right? So anybody that's had any kind of corporate job, I've worked at Dish Network, I worked for Chase Bank Card Systems, I worked for Desert Schools Bank here, all customer service, sit on a phone, do computer stuff jobs, right? All of those, there was some type of training class and then specific time sitting next to somebody watching them do the job. So you need to really combine your training in written processes, some videos, screencast, all of those things are very helpful. And plan to spend that first week, at least those first couple of days, watching them do it, having them watch you do it, keeping them online Zoom, keeping them live on your screen or at least live on the phone while you're going through it. You can share screens. You can do a lot of stuff to, as best as you can, remember COVID and somebody's working, from home, because this is what they're doing. How can I teach you how to do this? So that the better you are prepared by having it written down, having screencasts, having videos, all great. Almost every software has a training guide or school that they can go through. Almost any software you buy is going to have that, tutorials. Have them do those. But again, as much as you can in that first week or even two, really try to be there with them while they're doing the job.
Totally. Yeah, and I think going back to, I had an experience about 2 weeks ago where I was at Publix and I was waiting on food. And there was a guy there who was watching somebody else make a sandwich. Mm-hmm. And in my head, it's like, this is the simplest thing in the world. But that employee had to be trained on the specific processes to make a Publix Club sandwich.
Right.
With business owners, it's easy for us to be like, because we know this, because it's so innate to us. Here's overview. Here's kind of big picture. Here's how to do it. But it's really, how do I break this down into as basic of steps as possible? Assume they know nothing about your business, your processes, the software, the words that they should say. I don't know if y'all did this when you were back in school. This would be a hot minute ago, but and it comes up on like TikTok every once in a while, of like a kindergarten teacher teaching their students how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yep.
In our head, it's easy. In the kids' heads, oh, this is easy. And they say, get the peanut butter and then stick the knife in it. And then the teacher takes the knife and the lid's still on the peanut butter and hits and then the kid's like, unscrew the lid.
Great example.
You have to walk your VA through, not just put peanut butter on the sandwich, but screw off the lid, break it down step by step by step.
You have to.
So that they're doing it the right way. And it's like, write it out, but also record like a Loom video. Mm-hmm. Let them watch it, and then creating space for your VAs to ask for feedback and to ask questions. It's so important.
Number two ways I see people fail. They're not prepared to hire, so they haven't done their training.
Yep. And
for two, they just throw the training at them and walk away. So you have to remember, a virtual assistant is not software. It's a person. Okay. Yep. It's a person with feelings, fears, anxieties, frustrations, agitations. And specifically in the Philippines, their culture is very submissive. So they don't want to get in trouble. They're going to work hard, do everything they can to please. But if they think you're screwed up, like you kind of have to pull it out of them. I had a meeting. I hope some of my VAs watch this today. I had our team meeting today, and just getting them to say yes or no to like me joking around and asking questions. Like, come on, guys, relax. It's okay. You can answer me. They do great on email, but even seeing me once a month, they still get a little bit worried, and they're never really in trouble, right? If we make a mistake, we fix it, and we hope not to do it again. We hope it's not $1,000 mistake. But I had way worse experiences, like I said, hiring local, where people were not doing the job, burying their work. We had an in-house accountant steal physical checks. I mean, I've never had any kind of theft or corruption or anything from my Mexico VAs or my Philippine VAs. So just remember that they're people. Figure out what they're learning, what they're good at, and push them in those ways. If they suck at answering the phone, take them off the phones. If they keep making mistakes in the data entry stuff, maybe don't have them do the data entry stuff. Yep. Most people are going to hire for like a well-rounded, and it's usually going to be a very inexperienced admin type person, what we used to call a secretary, right? Answer the phones, do the paperwork, grab the keys if somebody comes in. Whatever that secretary job used to be is what I call now a general admin person that can do multiple tasks. If you're hiring them specifically to just answer your phones, great. When they're not answering the phones, what are they doing? Let's figure out what else are they good at and where else can I utilize them. Keep them busy, have them grow. We're growing people that can turn into experts. I will say GK is the name of our general manager in the Philippines. She oversees about 250 people.
Jeez.
She's one of those first VAs I hired to answer leasing calls. That's all she had to do. get people's IDs, ask them 3 questions, give them a lockbox code, on to the next call. Now she's overseeing most of the growth. She manages 2 HR offices. She does our hiring. She's got 7, 8 managers under her that deal with trainings. She's scheduling our local parties in the Philippines. I mean, she does it all. And I hired her 10 years ago to answer the phone. So
yeah, that's incredible.
You can find worker bees. My wife is a perfect example. She's a worker bee. She's a nurse. All she wanted to do was be a nurse. She's been a nurse for 27 years. She's had multiple opportunities to go into management or admin or move up or even be a charge nurse. She wanted nothing to do with that. She just wanted to do care. You will find that in a VA too. You'll find great ones that just want to sit down, crank out their day and be done. And then you'll find those diamonds in the rough, those queen bees like GK, that it's like, hey, she's really kicking ass on the phone. What else can we give her? All right, somebody's out today. Let's have her help with maintenance. Well, she crushed it at that. Let's keep her there now because now she's doing good in maintenance. 3 months later, all right, what else can she handle? Let's bump up. And now she can train the new one. The business is growing, so now she can replace herself. She can help train the new one, and I can move her up into another position. So you really want to look at, again, they're not software, even though virtual assistant is a buzzword or remote team member. It's a person, and you got to treat them that way. You should know their kids' names. You should know their birthday. You should know their dog's names. Yes, it's very affordable, but bonuses are good. I just did a $100 bonus for all 5 of my VAs for Christmas, and $100 is a big deal in the Philippines.
Yep.
So $500 to us is not going to hurt us this month, but $100 each to them is going to be a really nice show of appreciation. They're going to love it.
Yep, I love it. So zooming out from the world of hiring VAs, with both property management and remote staffing, trust matters a lot with y'all's clients, with your customers, especially since you're dealing with people's properties and people's payroll. Oh, yeah. It's a little bit of a high risk area. How do you build trust with your customers, with your clients, starting with day one?
So the number one complaint I get when I get somebody that calls me and wants to hire me as their property manager because they're firing their current property manager, the number one complaint is communication. So they're in the dark. They're firing because they did a repair that they didn't know was coming. They spent more than they thought they would. They never hear from them. They can't get a call back. It's always email or text. They can't actually have a conversation. All of these things wrapped around communication. Their statement isn't clear and they have questions and they can't get an answer. All about communication. Communication is the number one way to build trust. If they know that they contact us, they're going to hear back within the hour. Or, I'm not saying everybody should do this, but every single one of our owners has my cell phone. It's in my email signature, right? I hate getting calls after 3 on Friday. I'm probably already drinking. Saturday and Sunday, don't freaking bother me about your statement. Send an email to the team. But they know that they can reach me. And one of the worst things I hear is, I haven't heard back from somebody on your team. It's very rare that happens. But I'm like, well, did you send an email where you're supposed to? We have a very simple email. If they just use PM at HomeQwik, it goes to everybody on our team. You don't have to text me on a Friday night, But you build that trust by letting them know, hey, I want my team to handle this, but yes, you can reach out to me. So usually I'll say, if somebody texts me, like they'll take a picture of an HOA violation and text it to me on a Saturday. I'm like, did you send this to the team? And they're like, no. And I'm like, no worries, I'll do it for you. So they trust that they got a hold of me. Now I'm going to deal with it. But at the same time, I'm coaching them. Don't freaking bother me on a Saturday. Send this picture too. And I make sure, did you send it 2 p.m. at HomeQwik? So a little bit of training in there. But I think it all depends on what kind of business you have. If you're a roofer, you're probably going to do a roof for that client one time in their life. But during that sales pitch and during when the work is done, there is so much you can do to make them trust and love you that they'll refer you now 10 times, right? So, doing that kind of job, if you're not really good at your communication, if you don't follow through, if you don't build the trust, it might just be a 3-day job between they called you, you came out today, gave them an estimate, tomorrow and the next 2 days you're putting on a roof. So it might be a 3 or 4 day total client experience and relationship. but you can either build or destroy that trust in those 4 days, right? So again, I think it starts with communication and then just follow through. Another thing with trust, I mean, things happen in property management. We're not always right. Sometimes we make mistakes. You can't be perfect in accounting. You can't be perfect on invoicing. We're required by law in Arizona to be perfect with accounting by the end of the month, right? So if we screw something up, there's 150 there, there's $1,000 mistake. You just make sure that you fix it. You're accountable. You say, don't blame it on the software. Sometimes it is the software's fault, but you probably should have caught it, right? Or your employees should have caught it. So don't just say it was a software issue. Just say, hey, we coded it wrong in the software, but it's an easy fix and we're going to take care of it. Apologies. I've given a free month of management over stuff that wasn't even our fault. Just an owner was upset that they didn't like how a situation may have played out. But it's like, hey, guys, this is the law. You hired us to protect you. I'm going to make sure that you do the right thing so that you don't get sued. Also, I'm just going to throw you one free month of management to make you feel better. I don't do that often. But anytime if it's our fault, I'll definitely do that. But occasionally you build the trust just by saying, hey, this was a shitty situation in December, right before Christmas. You had to deal with this, blah, blah, blah problem. I'm going to throw you a quick bone just to make you feel better because I know it sucked. I've had clients now, we've had clients since we were with our partner before that are still with us. So
oh, wow.
That's going on 15 years. So some of them, I've got clients I sold 4, 6, 5, 3, multiple properties to. Each one of these clients that have been with us now 10 plus years, if not 15. And they know now they don't bother me unless they really want to talk about what's going on in the market. But it takes time to earn that trust. If you got a brand new client, again, I'll just go back to communication and follow through.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in home services, when you're working on somebody's house, they want to know what's going on. And I think you guys work a lot in like the blue collar space, for better lack of terminology.
For sure.
And that is an industry and a field that's not actually known for their communication. And it's also known for insanely high markups, if we're honest about it, of like, hey, this was it. Could have been a $200 job, should have been a $200 job. We got charged $600 for it. Right. Because there's such a shortage on the blue collar side of people who work in the trades. And so the more that home services companies can communicate every step of the way, and I think do a lot of education in that process,
for sure,
the better experience you're creating for your customers. And even if you only, and I think you're honest in words, like you may only meet with them once in their lifetime. You're only going to put a roof on once. Hopefully they're only going to call you out to fix a major plumbing issue once, never again. But it's how do we create this relationship and then maintain it, even if they don't work with us, so that they send us referrals, because people like to talk.
Nobody talks about their favorite restaurant. They do reviews about the restaurants they hate.
Yep.
You know what I mean? People talk about the restaurants they like. They don't do reviews on the restaurants they love. Like your favorite neighborhood bar, have you done a review for them? Maybe.
I know.
But do you tell your friends you like to go there? Sure. If you go to Chili's and they undercook your chicken tenders, you're probably writing a review on that Chili's.
Yep.
So 100%. If people are going to be happy, great. The best compliment you can ever get is a referral. So don't burn an opportunity to get one. And also don't be afraid, I don't think, to fire people. I've fired customers a couple of times a year. And I hate to do it, but if you're not aligned with us and it's just going to go bad, or you're going to blame me for everything, and you're never going to take my advice, it's just not working. So again, it depends on, are you in a long-term client relationship business, or are you in a one and done? Either way, communicate, follow through, show integrity, and you'll earn that trust.
I love it. No,
I think one of the last things on that, be accountable. If you make a mistake, own up to it and fix it.
Yep, 100%. No, so what is the one question you wish I had asked you that I haven't?
It's football season. Who's my favorite football team?
Who are you rooting for?
I'm a Broncos fan. When I moved to Arizona, there was no NFL team. The Cardinals got here when I was in like 5th grade. So the Broncos are finally good again. It's been 9 long years that we sucked.
What are they in their ranking?
Number 1 in the league.
Okay, I'm from like SEC world. I don't know anything about West Coast. What's their league out there?
Well, they're in the NFL. They're in the AFC.
Oh, so that's NFL. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
The Denver Broncos.
I listen. I know Alabama football before
There you
Saban
go.
left. A little bit of Georgia Tech football, nothing else. But I know how to yell from the stands. I'm really good at that. Nothing else though.
That's half the battle. Excuse me. Growing up, I was a big Nebraska fan. I still am.
Okay.
But they'll probably never be elite again. But when you're a fan for 40-something years, you don't change.
You stay a fan. Once a fan, always a fan.
Yep.
We'll still cheer on Alabama football even though Saban's gone.
Yeah, I mean, a kid I used to coach in flag football went there the last couple of years. He just graduated, so I was trying to root for them while he was there. He was on the hockey team.
Okay, cool. I love it. Well, Noel, thank you so much for coming on the show today. If people would like to connect with you further, what's the best way for them to find you?
Yesvirtual.com or HomeQwik, HomeQwik.com.
Love it. For everyone tuning in today, thanks so much for joining, and we will catch you on the next episode of Humans of Growth.
Thanks, Alex.